It was 50 years ago, August 1963, when I was having a bath on a Sunday evening, and I discovered the lump under my arm on the thickening of my breast, the size of a small peanut. It was shock horror, so I made an appointment with the doctor the very next morning and went to him, and he sent me same afternoon to the surgeon to have a biopsy. The surgeon told me to go home and just take it quietly. I got my mother over from Tongaroa to be with me and to help with the children. I had 3 daughters, ages 9, 7 and 5, and a husband. The surgeon told me that if I didn't hear from him, phone him Wednesday afternoon. Well, it was Tuesday afternoon. He called at lunchtime and said, "I want you in hospital by 2 o'clock. So I had no time to think about anything, and it was just all a big shock. Back then, they didn't just do the lump, they scraped me right to the bone and took all the lymph glands, so I'm grateful of it now, but it didn't really matter at the time either, because I wasn't very big in the breast, so it didn't matter too much. They really scraped me. They just took everything. They were very blunt with me. They told me that I could have 2 years. So it all just happened so quick, I just couldn't keep up with it. I had 17 days in hospital, and it was during that time my arm really swelled up huge with what we know now as lymphedema. But when I asked the doctor on his afternoon rounds what was wrong with my arm, he didn't have an answer for me. He just turned to the nursing sister and said, "Oh, give her a nerve pill." So I just wonder if they even knew what it was. I only had about a week or 2 at home, if I can remember, and then I was sent to Palmerston North for cobalt and radiation treatment, where I stayed in a boarding house and went to the hospital as a day patient. We'd get a bus up to the hospital. I was there for 6 weeks. It could have been quite lonely for me, but I think they were doctors' wives or something like that would come and take you out for a drive. And that was nice. And you were well enough to get on the bus and go into Palmerston and look at the shops. But it was, I did get home once during that time. It was Labour weekend, so I had 3 days that I was able to get home back to Rotorua and to see my family. But I did get a feeling of nausea, and I can remember that lettuce and ice cream were 2 things that upset me. I can recall another time in Palmerston when I was having radiation and the doctors had pulled the curtains around me and they're talking just through the curtains, and I hear them saying, "And she's only 32. Didn't make me feel very good. I returned home after that, and I was very fragile and lost a lot of weight. I went right down to 7 stone because I just didn't know if I was going to see my family grow up. My husband, he didn't take it very well at all. He sort of, why should it happen to his family sort of attitude, and he didn't handle it the best. So I didn't really get the support from him that I perhaps could have had. There was no support in those days, and the surgeon was the one who told me that if I got a bit of muslin and cut it round and fill it with birdseed, I could use that as a prosthesis. But I didn't bother. I just used a soft scarf and stuffed that in my bra. With the doctors, I wasn't told anything. No information at all. No support whatsoever. You're just left to it. And then I fell pregnant. So I went straight to the surgeon to see if it was okay to carry on with it, and he said that the latest news from England at that time was it would be good. And it certainly was good for me because it gave me a whole new outlook on life and a baby to look forward to. And I've never really looked back since then. And I was rewarded with a baby boy, which was an extra bonus after my 3 girls. And I've not only seen them grow up, I've seen the enjoyment of 7 grandchildren as well as 2 great-grandchildren. So I'm very grateful of every day that I have. It was a frightening experience because cancer was an unspoken word in those days. And I know people would walk across the street because rather than run into me because nobody knew quite what to say. And then I did the wrong thing by looking up the death notices in the paper and seeing names that I'd come across in hospital. That didn't help either. I had to be firm with myself and stop doing that. I think attitude comes into it quite a lot, and I am a positive person, so when I got over the first year of it, I was very positive about it. One of the best things that's happened to me, 8 years ago, got a camper van. I take off in it quite a lot. I'm travelling with others, like-minded people with vans who are on their own, which is a lot of fun, and it really gives you something to look forward to all the time. And I'm 82 years old. I'm just so grateful every day. Make every day a happy day is my policy.